Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
Modern cars do not particularly like cold weather. At negative temperatures, starting the engine contributes to a significant acceleration of its wear. This leads to friction of parts, since the oil has not acquired the necessary fluidity. And the level of comfort when getting into a frozen cabin is highly questionable. A whole range of cars that wheel on our roads are often not adapted to the harsh Russian winters. To remedy this situation, auxiliary devices have been developed. They are designed to heat the engine while the motorist is still at home, eating his breakfast and finishing a cup of his favorite invigorating drink before going about his business by car. One of the most popular devices providing such opportunities is a heater hydronic or hydronic, if we start from the correct name, chosen by the manufacturer. Motorists are interested in what this device is, how it works, and what advantages it has. Since the hydronic is often compared with the Webasto, it is necessary to compare them with each other. What it is? Let's start with a simple definition of the concept of the hydronic starting heater. This is a special autonomous system designed to warm up the vehicle before starting the engine itself. The device can heat not only the engine, but also the interior to create optimal temperature conditions. By preheating the powertrain, it is possible not only to reduce the rate of wear and tear of the engine components, but also to reduce fuel consumption. The interior heating function creates the necessary level of comfort for the driver and passengers of his car. If we talk about what a hydronic installed in a car is, it can be described as a mini engine. It replaces the engine of the car itself, performing heating functions. Heaters are used when the car owners themselves are still sitting at home, having breakfast, solving some household issues, but are going to get behind the wheel and go on business in the near future. Hydronic is able to heat up the powertrain itself, provide a comfortable temperature inside the cabin, defrost windshield wipers and windshield. The manufacturer of the hydronic is a company from Germany with a rather complicated name, Eberspacher. Perhaps it is because of the complexity of pronunciation in the ear of people, mainly the name of the model range of produced preheaters. Some will be interesting to know that in fact this German company began its activities with completely different products. After its foundation, which dates back to as early as 1865, the company specialized in metal frames designed for roof glazing. Already after a long existence, modernization of production and reprofiling, the manufacturer moved to the creation of pre-start heaters, as well as a wide range of other devices. An important feature of the hydronic is not only that it warms up the engine and the interior of the vehicle. The device is also able to perform the function of afterheating. That is, the device provides support for the engine, helps it to reach optimal temperature values in a shorter period of time. The device works remotely. With the help of a special remote control, you can start the heater from a certain distance. This allows you not to leave the apartment or house to start the heating process. Usually drivers just look out of the window or balcony, press the button, and the hydronic is turned on. Principle of operation. It is necessary to understand the peculiarities of the work of hydronic preheaters. These are liquid heaters that work with the coolant of the vehicle, which provides heating of the engine and interior. When the device is started, the car fan is switched on in parallel. It is thanks to it that the passenger compartment is heated. But you have to remember that this is an engine, albeit a compact one, and it runs on fuel. Therefore, switching it on is accompanied by a certain consumption of fuel poured into the vehicle's tank. In parallel, the device affects the battery, gradually reducing its charge. It is extremely important to take into account before buying and installing the hydronic. Read also, what is better to choose, diesel or gasoline engine? If you look at the design, the heater consists of motor compressor, control unit, fuel dispensing pump, glow pin, flame sensor, liquid pump, temperature sensor, overheating sensor. Taking into account all the components of the hydronic, you can better understand the principle of its operation. The device functions as follows. The device is turned on after a command from the control panel or at a time set by pre-programming. The air for the combustion chamber of the mini motor is taken from the outside. Fuel is drawn from the fuel tank. the components, are mixed in the chamber and ignited by the glow pin. The heat exchanger begins to transfer heat energy from the combustion of the fuel-air mixture to the car's own cooling system. Antifreeze, i.e., coolant, is heated. The water pump pumps the warmed liquid through the small circuit of the engine, which contributes to its warming up. When the temperature reaches 85 degrees Celsius, fuel stops flowing into the chamber, as well as air. The device goes into standby mode, and at this point only the water pump works. If the temperature drops below 75 degrees Celsius, the sensor reacts and restarts the heater. After finishing the work according to the set time, or after disconnection via the control panel, the hydronic stops working. In case of disconnection, the fuel supply is cut off, the combustion stops, but the burner fan remains active for another 2 minutes. If necessary, it is possible to start the hydronic when the car engine is already started. This allows to fulfill the function of additional heating of the power unit. The heater will work according to the same principle. In essence, the principle of operation is based on the fact that it uses the car's internal combustion engine cooling system to warm it up. Selecting the right power. In any country, there are a wide variety of vehicles with certain power, engine displacement, and other parameters. And this is an important aspect in the question of which heater from the hydronic range should be selected and installed on your car. The first thing you need to look at your motor, find out the volume of the engine, so that the purchased heater from the hydronic series of preheater fully cope with the task at hand. Hydronics are equally well suited for cars and trucks. Only what is suitable for a passenger car is unlikely to meet the needs of a truck. Conversely, it is not necessary to install a truck-oriented hydronic on a passenger car. Sometimes it is even impossible because of the large dimensions of the device. All produced by the German company Hydronics are divided by power indicators, which directly affects the volume of the heated area and the heating rate of the special liquid circulating through the cooling system. As a result, you can distinguish hydronics with parameters from 4 to 35 volts. It is in volts that the power of the starting heater is determined. Now let's go more specifically on the parameters of engines and their volume to choose the optimal model of heater. For passenger car engines with a displacement of 2.2 liters or less, the simplest hydronic 4 models will suffice. Excellent price/efficiency ratio. Such devices consume a minimal amount of fuel, which is enough for a full-fledged preheating of the engine and heating the cabin before boarding the driver and his passengers. 4 power units installed on passenger cars. The volume of 2.2 to 5.5 liters will be suitable for more powerful models for 5 volts, that is, Hydronic 5. They perfectly fulfill the tasks assigned to them, competently consuming fuel and qualitatively performing their functions. Minibuses and huge SUVs can take advantage of the Hydronic 10. These are already quite powerful models that passenger cars do not need. The most powerful are considered to be hydronics at 24, 30, and 35 volts. They are created specifically for large passenger buses, trucks, vans, tractors, and other heavy equipment. Their capabilities are enough to warm up impressive volumes of cooling fluid, as well as spacious salons, as in passenger buses. Read also, what you need to know about variator gearboxes. Remember one important pattern. The higher the power, the larger the size of the device for engine preheating and cabin heating. Be sure to take this into account, because 2 massive hydronic simply may not fit in the underhood space of your car when installing, and that will become a problem. Hydronic versus Webasto. When it comes to engine preheaters, the first thing that pops up in the subconscious of most motorists is the concept of Webasto. This is another heater that is in great demand. What is most interesting, it is also produced by a company from Germany. Therefore, Hydronic and Webasto are fairly considered competitors in the market of preheaters. And in this regard, motorists have a legitimate question. They are interested in who is better to choose, Webasto or Hydronic for installation in the underhood of their vehicle. It is quite difficult to compare the 2 heaters. It is almost impossible to make final conclusions and name a leader. Everyone must decide for themselves what characteristics are a priority, and what you can, and close your eyes. Comparative characterization allows us to make the following conclusions. Hydronics at maximum power can consume 0.6 liters of fuel per 1 hour of operation. At minimum, power consumption drops to 0.2 liters. At Webasto, indicators are 0.51 and 0.26 liters, respectively, which makes the latter heater somewhat more economical. Webasto does not warm up the cabin space as quickly as its competitor can do, but Hydronic cannot be controlled by the user with the help of a special application installed on a smartphone, which is actively boasted by the manufacturers of Webasto. In terms of power consumption and energy efficiency, the superiority with a slight advantage is still on the side of Webasto, an important, and for many the key advantage of the Hydronic is its repairability. It is not possible to restore the performance of Webasto in case of its failure. Both devices in conditions of extremely low temperatures sometimes give errors and block. But if Webasto can be unlocked manually, to unlock the competitor will have to go to a service center. Many people are surprised at how similar both pre-start heaters are to each other. They really have a lot in common, similar characteristics, capabilities, similar some strengths and weaknesses. And they develop practically in parallel, not wanting to yield to their main competitor in the market of preheaters for internal combustion engines. But you will cease to be surprised by this fact of such striking similarity when you learn one important nuance. The fact is that until recently, when they have already begun to produce high-efficiency heaters, manufacturers Webasto and Hydronic were one company. Then they separated, continuing to produce a device for heating the engine and interior under their own brands. Hence the striking similarity in design and schemes of operation of devices. Taking into account all these nuances, each motorist will be able to draw certain conclusions for himself. To begin with, decide on the expediency of purchasing a preheater. In fact, it is not necessary for everyone and not everywhere. They are mainly in demand in regions with cold winters, where starting the engine without preheating is really dangerous in terms of wear and tear and the occurrence of negative consequences from a constant cold start. If you realize that you need a heater, you have to choose between two options. Webasto and Hydronic are similar, but there is a definite difference between them, which you have already learned about earlier. It is recommended to entrust the installation to specialists. Connection of heaters to the engine, fuel system, and liquid cooling system has its own nuances. Installation can be carried out based on the manufacturer's instructions, but in order to ensure proper installation and avoid possible errors will be better if this task is performed by qualified craftsmen. In conclusion, hydronic systems play a crucial role in enhancing the efficiency and comfort of modern vehicles. By utilizing liquid to transfer heat, these systems provide effective temperature regulation, ensuring optimal performance in various driving conditions. Understanding how hydronics work and their importance in automotive design can help us appreciate the advancements in vehicle technology. As we continue to innovate, the integration of hydronic systems will likely become even more significant, paving the way for a more efficient and comfortable driving experience. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found this exploration of hydronics in cars informative.